Good evening and welcome to Tech Insights broadcast. It's a new program that we are going to be broadcasting once a week. Today is Wednesday, but we'll be doing it on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. And uh, Insights for Tech Insights is going to cover video production, that's audio equipment, video equipment, audio production equipment, software. And then we'll also be doing some interviews to help you to grow in your tech business and ministry, as well for church and for those that are not in the church. About your host, that's me, Brian Cochran. I have been in ministry and doing business now since 75 in the audio side, and then crossed over to video in the early 1990s. And we have a TV production company, a matter of fact, a TV network called BAC TV, and we are glad to have our own broadcast network, and we'll be talking about that another time. But just a little bit, that's just enough about us, about me. Today is going to be episode number 1, and it is going to be dealing with the best video cameras for internet broadcasting, the best video cameras or cameras for internet broadcasting. And so I'm excited to be here, and it's a good day. So here I am. Our inaugural broadcast and on this new show. And excuse the technical difficulties already. It's what happens when you're trying to do all these things. And so I'm excited about what we're getting ready to do and getting ready to teach. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I've been putting it off. But now we are, because I'm doing a lot of installs and a lot of sales, and folks are asking me, and I'm doing a lot of training, that I figured I'd also take what I've learned and what I'm learning and give you the insights on one, saving money and saving time for my mistakes and things that I've done wrong in doing audio, as well as video, as well as software and design. Because I'm a desktop publisher, so I create flyers and banners and signs and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be talking about all the technical side of doing business as well as doing ministry. So let's as one of my guys I watch on YouTube says, let's do it. So tonight we're going to be dealing with talking about the various cameras that are available, and what I'm probably going to do tonight is show you the cameras that I use, so that way you understand that from beginning to end. Starting from the smartphone, that we'll talk about webcams and how I got started in doing broadcasting. I started off with a webcam, so we'll talk about that. I'll show you the webcam that I use, and then we'll get into and I'll also with the webcams, I'll show my smartphone, which you all have a smartphone, I'm pretty sure. So we'll also be going into that as well, and then we'll get into the video cameras that I use and have and recommend based upon ease of use and vision. Then we'll also talk about DSLR cameras, which I don't own one, because I'll tell you why I don't own one. And then we'll get into what the craze is for me, and I'm selling a lot of and doing a lot of installs for, which are PTZ cameras. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to show you some, I'm going to try to keep this in a timely manner, but it's our first show, so we're going to do it as we do. All right, here we go. We're going to talk about webcams. So where's my webcam at? Here it is. So let me get over here. All right, this is a Logitech C920. It's a webcam that I use. I've been using this I've probably had this one now probably 8 years, because I was doing, I've been a part of internet broadcasting for a long time, and internet radio and that kind of stuff. I've had internet radio stations for a long time, and then now that it's more affordable to own TV stations and YouTube and that kind of stuff, I've been there on TV. And at the time, webcams was it, besides getting into the higher end cameras, and no one really knew how to use it. You had to have the high end connections, SDI, not even HDMI back then, because most of the switchers that were available are only for the higher end TV production and higher end internet TV studios. And so webcams was the way to go. It is good for the office. I'm also, you may or may not know, I'm also a preacher. And so when I first started my church, that's what I used. I used my Logitech C920, and I had it on the first row, and then I ran a little cord off to the side, and then that way I streamed. I was using live stream back then. It was free. And what's the other? I forgot the name of the other company. And we'll get into that as well. All the different companies as far as streaming through we'll get into that another time. But today we're going to kind of stay in tech. So our first was that webcams, and then so our next one I'm going to show you is where we go. Here we are. All right, we're going to get into both. Where we go? There we go. Video and action cameras is next, and what I'm excited about this one because this is the one I use the most of. When I first got into broadcasting, I bought this little camera here, and it was next to nothing. I think I paid at a pawn shop. I think I paid like $60 or $80 for it. And the cool part about it is it had a clean feed for me to be able to go out into the internet. And so it was a JVC. I don't even think they make this one anymore, but it has an HDMI, mini HDMI out, so it allowed me to use that in a capture card. Oh, I'll get into that another time. How you could plug in from the. Oh, let me back up. The the Logitech C920 has a USB, so that's why most of us used it because the connection for us to get into, which I mentioned earlier, this is how we got to the internet. So we plugged it into our computer, and then the computer went to the internet. Then the next step is something called a capture card, and I don't see any here, and I'll talk about all that a little bit later on. But this one has a HDMI connection, mini HDMI, and so I connected this one. But the limitation is a $90, probably $150 new, and so I started with this one, and I still have it for if I'm doing multiple cameras in a podcast situation. I'll use that for that. But the one I used for years was this one here, which is a Canon Vixia RF 800, and this little camera, it's an awesome camera. It has the lens adapter for you to put a wide zoom lens and a wide lens. So I used this for years as my streaming camera as well as recording. So when I got into video production, I was using this camera, and this camera allowed me to do zoom in. I did several events, but the downside of this was not good in low light. So when I was doing church events like midnight musicals and that kind of stuff, it would come out really grainy because it didn't have the availability for it to catch on low light. So I had to find something else. But I used it for a long time. There's certain events that I pass on, or I would turn it on to one of my friends to use it. But this has a HDMI out as well. And the reason that I'll get to that next. So that's this camera here. And then next I went to this one here. And this one is a Panasonic Full HD and 1080p. And this one is the model number is HCV 770. This was recommended to me by a friend of mine who told me about this camera. The camera's around $499, $449, somewhere in there. And the picture's awesome. And the cool part about this one is that the color on this is awesome. Everything was good for what I wanted to use it for. But then everything started going towards 4K. So I want to get a 4K camera. So I stepped up into this camera here. And this is my Canon Vixia F-G50. And I stepped up to this one because it's a 4K camera. The color is incredible. But it also tied in with my other, because I have three other different Canon cameras. So in the Canon family, I was able to have two of these, and I had a couple others. So if I was doing 4 camera shots and that kind of stuff, I had this to be able to use that with the other two. This would be my main camera. Then my B-roll would be with the other cameras. So that way I would be able to film and do a great job. This is a phenomenal camera. I've been using it a long time now. The price point on it is $999. It may be a little bit less now because they got a new model out. But for the money, I've been using this one. I had the Sony. I tried it. Their 4K camera. But the picture quality was great, but it didn't match. No matter how much I tried, it wouldn't match with my other cameras. So I ended up going with this one instead. And I also have this one, which is an older camera. And this is a prosumer. So it's not a the reason it is because it doesn't have the the XLR out for the audio, but it has almost the same connections and everything else as the Pro model does. But it has a couple other features the Pro models have, an entry-level Pro model. So this would be the prosumer series, the entry-level prosumer. And then this one, which is an older camera, which is the XF100 by Canon. This one is HD 1080p, but if you notice here, it has XLR out. So this is the entry-level prosumer. Pro level camera. So for different shots, we use this one. This one worked really well for a long time until I got the 4K camera, and then I replaced this with this. So I still use this one for other shots. It's not like a lot of YouTube stuff, because YouTube, you do have 4K, but if you're not subscribed to YouTube, for instance, and have their membership to view in 4K, you won't catch it in 4K. So it'll still be either 720 or 1080p. So this was a pro camera, so we use this one. And so with action cameras, let me talk about that. Let's talk about that for a second. Believe it or not, this is, I mean, you can buy this one. Again, my deal that I got, this one is a off-brand, no-name camera. It's by Z Media, and if you look at it, it's a 4K camera. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But the cool part about it is that I found this at a at a pawn shop. I paid $40 for it, and I'm able to have all these different adapters. It has a head adapter to put on my head, so if I'm doing work, that I want to show what I'm doing and filming, I can do that. It also has a chest one that you can put all kind of adapters, even for the car. It allowed me to do all those different things that allowed me to do that. So I was able to take advantage of this. The cool part about it is that it also allows you to put it on your wrist, put it on the handlebars. It's got all kind of stuff for action sports. If you got a car, it's wonderful because it has great adapters. They're very inexpensive for also in the car, and the picture quality is incredible. So I'll be showing you picture quality on those a little bit later on. Next, wrong way. The next one, I don't have a. As I said earlier, I don't have a DSL camera, so we'll talk about that now. And the reason I don't, wrong way. There we go. All right, DSL cameras, and the DSL cameras are incredible cameras. The cool part about them are that you can change out the lenses for the higher end ones. So if you're doing, kind of what happened was that originally, DSLR cameras and cameras as a whole, they were primarily 99% for taking pictures for photography. And then they got a smart idea because of video cameras being out and trying to capitalize on that market. They started creating the cameras to also do video. Short time. At first it was short, then it got longer as time went along. But the only problem was that the cameras would time out after 25, 30 minutes. So because of that, I chose not to get one of those cameras because for me, because I bought the cameras primarily for streaming, and so since I'm doing streaming, I didn't want to have a camera that was going to time out, or you have to run over there to turn it back on. You might interrupt somebody if you're doing a wedding or you're doing some type of event that you don't remember that it's timing out. There's no buzzer, no timer. It just goes out. That I didn't want to do that. So, but now, and part of what happened was, and the reason they did that was because most of your cameras are coming from China and Japan, and so they were charging an excise tax for bringing in those kind of cameras. And so they wouldn't do it. So that's why they timed them out. So now they've changed the policies. They've been able to work through it. And so now the cameras are coming out with the video as well. The picture quality is phenomenal. They're creating movies with them and everything else. So if you have the budget to do it, you can start anywhere from like $400 or $500 up to, to a red camera, which starts off as a regular camera, and then it just builds it out into a larger camera. So the flexibility now today with the DSLR, they're mirrorless. The picture quality is going to be better than a projector. I mean, a camcorder. But the difference is that again, with a camcorder, you never have to worry about going out. They're stable. That's what they're used for, and so that's why I use those. So the next one we're going to get into, which is what my little soapbox is. Where'd I go? Here we go. Wrong way. Yes, PTZ cameras. And the PTZ cameras have been around for a long time. If you watch like from some of the food channels and like Mission Impossible, Restaurant Impossible, and Hell's Kitchen and that kind of stuff, and Restaurant Rescue and all those kind of shows, they use PTZ cameras because they're small and they can be put on a little stand or with a bracket, just like these, which are the action cameras, but these are larger and the picture quality is better. You can do a lot more with them because the PTZ stands for, let me slow down, pan, tilt, zoom, and that's what it stands for. That this camera right here this is what it looks like, live. You've probably seen them. If not, this one it pans, it tilts, and then inside it zooms. And this camera is phenomenal. The price point is great. One person can operate it because it has, it comes with a. Let me put it back. Let me put the other picture back up. I should have brought up the remotes for them, but I didn't do it. But if you look at it there, you'll see that the very first one on your right is a little. That's what comes with the camera. The one behind it is a joystick controller. So you're able to with the joystick. With the controller one, you're able to control up to 4 or 5 cameras on that one. Maybe more. But with the larger controller, you can up to 100 cameras. So if you got stuff running into different rooms, that kind of stuff, one camera can run all those cameras. That one controller can run all of your cameras. And so the price point is good. I've been putting them into churches a lot because a lot of, part of the challenges today in the church is they don't have a big volunteer base. And so because of that, one person can operate all the cameras. I've been putting in these, in the churches and these in churches and some of the other ones, even the smaller cameras. I've been putting them in the churches, but part of the challenge is you gotta have somebody there to, camera operators that actually operate the cameras. With the PTZ camera, you don't have that challenge. And so that will help you if you're looking to do something like that. We're going to show what I'm going to do is I'm going to go more in depth with all of them. I just want to kind of give you an overview of the cameras that I use and why I use them. Like I'm doing a festival on this Saturday. I'm doing sound and video for the festival. Our TV network is presenting the TV portion. I'm going to be using the PTZ cameras because my staff is running the sound. And then we have another event that's going on because it's Juneteenth. And so if you're seeing this before Juneteenth, it's a Juneteenth celebration. And so we have people, so my staff is going all over everywhere. And so I can run with the cool part about the controller is you can make it do some pretty cool stuff. It'll do some automated stuff and you can time it and all that kind of stuff as well. So the ease of use of the PTZ camera is why I chose the PTZ camera to put in the churches because of the price point. It's right in between. It's right in between this one here, which was new, probably $2,500 new. Now they're worth a lot less because they've come out with HD cameras and smaller ones. But even on the prosumer side, on the pro side, pro cameras start around $2,000 in 1999 and up. So this one's like between $2,200 and $2,700. And so like the new one that comes out now, they have an HD one, but you want to get a 4K one for the future, even though a lot of stations aren't doing 4K yet. And then I've been putting in this one because of the price, again, for the price point. I've been putting a lot of them in. But when I started dealing with the PTZ cameras, I started putting those in because this was $999, which is a 4K camera, and this one is a high definition camera, which is 1080p, and it's around $2,400. These come in anywhere from as low as so there's some lower end ones that don't do as much as these do. You can start around probably $800 up to $2,500, like with the PT Optics camera. This is by Ulta, and this is a new camera that we're bringing in to help in our price point to help folks be able to get the cameras. So let me keep going. Almost done, I think. So in here we go. So in conclusion, based upon your budget, based upon your expertise, and based upon what your plan is on how to use it and which camera you're going to use. Again, I've used the only one I haven't used, as I said earlier, is the DSL cameras, because DSLR cameras is because one that they're regular cameras, and I would never want to be a photographer, so you need to have some basic understanding of how to use that. They do have some automated features on them, and the price point was a lot higher than what I wanted to spend when I first got started. And even now, I still really go with the PTZ camera than going with the DSLR camera, even though you can have greater lenses and they come with tons of stuff to do that. They got the 4K version of the PTZ cameras that we're offering as well, and also based upon your expertise. So again, when I first got started, I started off with a webcam, and I grew. And as I grew, I didn't get. Matter of fact, I started off with my smartphone, and no, that's not true. I started off with a webcam, and then I graduated because I got a better phone. Because as technology got better, I started using my smartphone because I was, I've always had, not always, but I have a Samsung Note, and the cameras on the Samsungs are really, really good, just like on the Apple. The iPhones got incredible cameras. I've seen people create movies and create cool stuff, and they got aftermarket lenses that you can get for it as well. So I went that route, and then I also used the tablet for a while because I still didn't have the level of understanding of how aperture is and exposure and white balance and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I started where I can have something that was automated to help me to grow and learn and mature. And then as I grew and matured, then I got into better and deeper cameras. So now we have 4K cameras. Our team has the red cameras, all that kind of stuff. But we had to crawl before we walk and run. So in conclusion today, this is our first broadcast. I hope something's been said to encourage you to do it. If you're not streaming and you don't know what to do, we're available to help you. This is our show. Thank you so much for watching. We're here. Again, the days are going to be on Tuesdays. And sorry for the late notice. I didn't send it out. I didn't blast it because I wasn't sure today was even going to happen because of some stuff that kind of came up. But the show's going to be called Tech Insights. And my name is Brian Cochran. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. And again, tune in next week. I'll post it earlier and let you know what day, what the subject's going to be. It's going to be all about tech. So that way you can grow on that end. And I have some other shows that we're doing as well on another show. So if you want to contact me, our company is called FatX Pro Sound and Lighting, or AV, and so we have all the stuff that you need to help you to do business and grow your ministry and grow your pro sound, lighting, and video production. We have the service, training, and installation for you. My name is Brian Cochran again. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the other side, as they say.